Hi, I'm Wendy Liu, and I'm the author of Abolish Silicon Valley, How to Liberate Technology from Capitalism. It comes out today in both paperback and ebook, and you can find out where to get it from abolishsiliconvalley.com. The book is part memoir, part manifesto, and I know the title is controversial, but I promise you it is more nuanced than it sounds. And I'm honored to have been endorsed by Naomi Klein, Cory Doctorow, Nick Cernick, and Helen Hester, and the book was also featured as The Guardian's Book of the Day last week. So before I talk about the book, I want to say a few words about the current moment that we're in. Because my book is all about the problems of our socioeconomic system. And even though I wrote it last year before the pandemic started, the way everything has played out recently has only confirmed my fears. It's as if this virus were specifically designed to expose just how broken our system is. And contrary to what some are saying, viruses do discriminate. Look at who's been neglected even before this started. People in prisons, people who are unhoused, people who work low-wage jobs with little job security. And look at how they're being treated now. The virus didn't cause this. All of these societal divisions predate our current crisis. And we can't really be angry at a virus. But we can be angry at the systems that have shaped how the virus has affected society. And we should be angry at the people in positions of power who have allowed things to get to this point, who have profited from letting things get to this point, and who are currently failing to uphold their responsibility to the people who they should be serving. So onto the book. What do I mean by abolishing Silicon Valley? If I had to boil it down to a few words, I would say we need technology entrepreneurship for the public good as opposed to private gain. Because I don't think the two are synonymous. And when I look around at the state of society today, I see a system that isn't working. It doesn't serve the vast majority of the people it's supposed to be serving. What we have is a system that glorifies the pursuit of private gain to the benefit of a small number of people and the detriment of everybody else. I don't think it has to be this way. And of course, Silicon Valley is not the cause of these problems. It didn't originate any of them. But it does occupy a particular position in our economic system, which means it has a way of concentrating wealth while also facilitating or deepening the dispossession of those who are not sharing in that wealth. So when I talk about Silicon Valley, I'm talking about a particular relationship between technology and capital, where technology is developed in the service of capital. I'm talking about a system of ownership, where shareholder value is treated as a proxy for the greater good, even though the ownership of shares is heavily concentrated. I'm not just saying computers are bad. I'm objecting to a particular ownership structure and all the problems that flow downstream from that. So if you're thinking, how can you critique capitalism when you're shooting this on an iPhone? Didn't capitalism make your iPhone? No. Workers made my iPhone. And the vast majority of workers who are involved in the production of an iPhone, not to mention everything else, are severely undercompensated, under-recognized, and not given any meaningful control over the economy or their own lives. And that to me is the crux of the problem. That's what animates my politics, the fact that workers don't have meaningful control. The kind of world I want to see is one where people have democratic control over their lives. And that could mean so many things, many of which I talk about in this book. But what I want to see is a world where technology is developed for the benefit of ordinary people, not just to enrich a small number. And, of course, it's a big vision. It could mean many things. It's not going to happen overnight, and it's a little bit difficult to grasp what that looks like. I do propose some things in the book, but the goal of the book is not to say, we need X, Y, Z. It's to say, we need to think about this differently. I want people to think about alternatives to the current system. I want to explore all the possibilities of how we could have innovation and how we can build useful things without having the current system. So that's all I have to say about the book. buy it, get it from a library, get it from a friend, whatever. But most importantly, take care of yourselves and take care of each other, because we're living in a really difficult time and many of our institutions are failing us. The worlds that we've all gotten used to suddenly seems really fragile. And now more than ever, I think what we need is solidarity.